Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 17. Let me get the banner out. Day 17 of 100 Days of Code with Leon Anderson. Leon, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty great, other than that I didn't have, like, today was the day with the least amount of time for coding. I managed some other stuff that I had to, so I have more time for coding in the future. But yeah, that makes me a little sad that I only had like 20 minutes at the most now. And so I tried to do the homework of building the reduce function from scratch, using a for loop, and I got some things right, but there are some big question marks, and I would need way more time. I have one question maybe that I can use to keep on with the homework to finish it tomorrow. And I started the function reduce open brackets, and then I put in the parameters of array, accumulator, current value, and init. And accumulator in between, exactly. And then I put a for loop inside, but I'm a bit confused on, like, I looked it up when I went through the reduce function in the Cold Steel course. There were multiple applications of how to use the reduce function. So there were very different kinds of inputs even function, or I don't know if there were inside of the reduce function, but there were if statements, and depending on the use case, like the usual use case, as far as I know, is like summation of all different elements in an array and putting them out as one sum. But like there are all kinds of different use cases. For example, if the accumulator is smaller or bigger than the current value, then return. So it checks through all of them, the smallest or the biggest, depending. And so inside of the reduce function, you would have to have like so many different, you can have so many different variables that I was like, okay, but what do I put inside of the for loop now? Because yeah, it loops through it, but there's it's like almost okay. Now from here you have a lot of different options, the accumulator and current value and the init. So I was like, okay, is that it, or do I have to define something more? Yeah, that's one question. And the other question is, either way, if do I have to, would it make sense to add like even more parameters into the reduce function here in this one, into the brackets, to be able to control what's going on inside of it, like depending on the different use cases? Or would I just let that open and then later on do it inside of the function? Does that make sense?
Yes, so there's one reason that causes both of your problems. which is you've got their own arguments here. So, or sorry, parameters. You've got their own parameters here. The correct parameters, I'm going to comment this out, and then I'm going to send you the code so you can start from there, are an array, a reducer function, and the initial value. So the custom reduce function does not take and accumulate any current value.
Okay, but how can we then use different values inside of it if we don't have the space inside of the function? Do we have to add it later inside of the function then?
Well, the reducer function is what has access to the accumulator of the current value, right? Similar to like in our number reduce, in let's say we have our of numbers here, because we always like our numbers. And then usually when you reduce here, this is the array, right? This is the array. Then you put in the reducer function, and then you put in the initial value. Do you remember how we broke those out yesterday? Where
Yes.
we put those through a buff?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So,
basically the
do I
same
have to,
API here.
do I have to define the reducer function before the reduce function?
You can, but you can also inline it, right? You can either let everyone sum this. We can either say const sum equals to a b, and then a plus b, right? We can say const initial value and initial value equals to 0, right? You can either do it like this and sum everything, or I'm going to comment this out and say numbers that reduce a b a plus b 0, but we can also inline all the arguments.
Where you're like in line 20, where it says reducer, can I replace that with a function? With another
No, because those are the parameters, right? You have to think about how would you use this reduce. You would use this reduce like this, numbers, right? And then you may put in some and initial value, for example. Or you put in, you inline in here, a, b, a plus b, right? That's how you would use the function.
Okay, and the reducer function depends on the different use cases.
Yeah, exactly. That's
okay,
the
okay.
flexibility.
Now I get the structure of it. Now I got the structure of it. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Creating it all and sending it to you.
I only need to remember reducer function, and the rest I want to make sure to get on my own again.
And then literally then let me delete it. But should I send you anything?
No, I'll just write down reducer function.
Okay, great.
Okay, yeah. I think, and then the reducer, like for the user, like for the person who puts in the reducer function, he or she has to know that inside of the reduce function, there is a current and accumulator value that he can use for setting up his reducer function. Is that right?
You know that about reduce, right? And when you implement your custom reduce, you just have to think, okay, what do I need to do so that someone who passes in a reduce function, so basically that you pass in those things to the reduce function that someone gives you.
Got it. Okay, so okay.
It's similar, you already did that with filter and map, right? Because when someone gives you the fader or the map function, you also give them, for example, the current element and stuff. And similarly, you have to give the reducer function the stuff that the reducer function did.
But in the function map, I had yeah, the only input needed is an array and the function that should be added onto it. And those both are inside of they are visible as like they are obvious that those are the parameters because they're inside of it of the parameters. But of course, yeah, when you know, okay, it's a reduced serif function, then you should be able to know what is contained in a reducer function. Is that right?
I got the second part, but didn't get the first part. Like, why do you say that it's obvious for map and not for reduce? Because it's the same principle, only that reduce takes one more argument, which is the initial value. And the function for mapping takes in three values. Like it takes in the current value, the index, and the array. And the reducer function takes in four values: the accumulator, the current value, the index, and the array.
The function, the map function only takes in the array and function and another function, right?
The custom map function, yeah. So the custom map function, map function,
yes,
takes in only two arguments.
exactly.
And the custom reduce function takes in three arguments.
Yes, but the difference that I see is that the reduce serif function, you have to know what kind of function it has to be, and with the map function, with the custom map function, the function that you could put in there can be literally any function.
Well, you have to know that that it's a flat. Well, you have to no, because the map function returns what the new value in the array will be, right? And you have to know that the reduce function returns what the new accumulator value will be. So you have to, for both functions, you have to know what they're used for as the user of the custom map or the custom reduce function.
But the parameter func could be anything, couldn't it? Could be any kind of function.
No, I mean, there are tons of functions that don't make sense, similar to how there are tons of functions that don't make sense in reduce, right? So let's say in the custom map function, I have a function, or I use my custom map function, and my map function is like a function that just returns undefined, right? That makes not like that makes exactly as little sense as when I have my custom reduce function, and I put in the function that returns undefined, right? Because then the accumulator value is always undefined. But here, each item in the array will always be undefined.
Okay, but the reducer function always uses the an accumulator and a value, right?
Yes, and that's the difference between the two, right? The custom map function takes in two arguments, and the, let's call it mapping function, right? Func takes in three arguments: the current value, the index, and the complete array. And for the custom reduce function, the reducer function takes in four arguments: the accumulator, the current value, the index, and the array.
Why does the mapping func take in the current value and the index?
That's how map works, right? Like when we write numbers equals to frequencies and numbers.map is the current value of the first argument, right? Or like we can say current value, we can do it like this. We have also have access to the index and the total area.
Yeah, but the function at the end where you have car times 2, you could have like car whatever const you defined before, for example, or whatever variable. Like it's like you can put even like you can put more values inside.
Yeah, but the same there it is a function, right? Like I can
Okay.
say numbers that reduce,
Okay.
and I can say accumulator current, and we can say like accumulator plus current plus, and we define here, I don't know, on always add this 42, or when we say always add this, and then we say finish over.
Okay. Can you copy that out?
Sure.
I can look at that and yeah, I definitely noticed that when I just have 20 minutes time, it's like hard to like I have to immerse myself after like a whole day of work back into the world of code to like get into the right mode and
100%. And it's even proven that usually it takes people 20 minutes to start really thinking about a problem, which is why it is crucial that as a manager, when you manage other developers, you make sure that they don't have context switches, because every time they context switch, they will lose more or less 20 minutes of time that they need to get back into the problem.
yes, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. And
Awesome.
I'm looking forward and preparing for days of uninterrupted coding.
Awesome. So yeah, anyone who's watching this, again, I know like Roger, just 20 minutes, just got the hat engaged with it again. And it is all you need. Keep working on it. Take the days as they come, if you want to code and you have a busy life, maybe you have a family, maybe you have other things that you need to do, just see what time you can squeeze out of here and there and put it in. And then once you have more breathing room again, then go all out again. Just keep the habit up. And that's also what I love about this team. It's so much about like learning things, but it's also about just being a good example for a good coding habit, which is what will eventually get you there. So thank you everyone for tuning in. This was the Code Call with
Leon Anderson and my mentor.
Alan Mill from Panic Dev. See you.
Bye bye.